Ooh, okay. Let's turn that off. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. I hope you guys are hearing me. Sorry about the echo. Hello. Welcome to Q&A with Dr. Mercy. I am Dr. Mercy. Uh, Hello, everyone. Hello. Um, Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm seeing people now. Okay, great, great. Okay, welcome. Well, first of all, happy week, happy end of the week. And hope you guys had a really good week. I did, and I continue to have a very good week. Hello, Eleanor. How are you? How are you? So I hope this is going to be a very, very quick yet very enjoyable topic that we have today. We have something engaging to discuss. But before we do, I just wanted to know where are you guys viewing me from? Where you viewing this broadcast from? Good evening, Finis. How are you? I always like to know where where we reach, how far we reach. Hi, how are you? And so, what state, city, country are you viewing this broadcast from? Oh, Wichita, Kansas. Okay, okay, that's cool. I used to live in Garden State, Kansas when I was younger. So, um, hey, former neighbor, Toledo, Ohio. Okay, Chanel. Okay, great. Okay, good. Okay, oh, Britain. Okay, UK. Oh, well, welcome, welcome. Well, thanks for asking. You, you okay? I'm well. Thanks for asking. I see you're well. Houston, Texas. Houston. Okay, neighbor. Hi, neighbor. And Chicago. Okay, that's great. Oh, Charlotte, North Carolina. Newark, New Jersey. San Antonio. Yes. What was I in San Antonio? I was in San Antonio a couple months ago. Oh, Australia, Debbie. Wow. Well, welcome, welcome. Maryland, Mississippi, Cali. Okay, well, we're all over the place. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and for just giving me your time. So today's topic is really a very common topic. I'm going to put my banner on, and what it is. Oh, not that one. That was last week we talked about. What is up with the flu? Okay, I was in the hospital a couple days ago, and for the several days I was in the hospital, I noticed one good thing. A, the COVID cases are coming down. Charlene, Columbus, Ohio. Okay, Charleston, Louisiana. Awesome. The COVID cases are coming down, so that's awesome. In fact, in our ICU, I believe we only had 2 COVID patients, and I didn't have to admit any COVID patients. But what was alarming is that while COVID cases were coming down, there was a increased rate of the flu. In fact, during my shift, I would admit anywhere from one person a day to about 2 or 3 people a day with the flu. And so I just wanted to take the time out to just remind people, yes, COVID is coming down and hopefully it will stay down. But while it does, there are other viruses around us that can also, present with respiratory symptoms. So I wanted us to remind ourselves that we are in flu season. So this episode or this session that we're going to have is just going to be talking about the flu. Okay. But before we talk about the flu, I wanted to just bring to your attention that I want to, in the beginning of 2023, I want to do something where we can all do together, almost like a challenge. Well, actually, it is a challenge. As I've always said in the past, prevention is always better than cure. What great way to kind of start off the year by focusing on our health. So, the first challenge that I want us to participate in is the water challenge. And you may be like, what? Water challenge? Well, yeah, I am in the hospital and I see patients a lot. And the different patients that I see, a lot of times they come in because they're just dehydrated. And really, all we're doing throughout the hospitalization is just giving them water through IV, hydrating them, and sending them home. Now, they get a bill for thousands and thousands of dollars, whereas all we did was give them saline water. So, in order to prevent unnecessary hospitalization, in order to prevent conditions such as like urinary tract infections or chronic headaches or kidney failure or even stuff that has to deal with the heart, it'd be a great idea to start drinking the daily requirements of water on a consistent basis. So, usually, as they say, it takes about 2 weeks before something can form as far as a habit. So, I was thinking that we could do this water challenge for a month. And at the end of the month, those who are still doing the water challenge will get a reward. So I wanted to bring that to your attention now. So just in case, so you guys can start preparing. If you are interested in doing this water challenge, you can go and just email me at waterchallenge2023@gmail.com. So if you're interested, email me waterchallenge2023@gmail.com. Just write your name, also write your age, and just say, hey, I'm interested. And so I'm going to continue to talk about this water challenge. I want to do it the first week of January, but I may push it back to January 15th, but it's definitely going to be in the month of January. So stay tuned. I'm super excited about this. And I think it'd be a good way to keep myself accountable because I know I need more water, but to keep us accountable just overall. We're a community and let's just start working on our health step by step. Keep in mind, though, there are some people who have conditions whereby they have to limit the amount of water that they take. Conditions such as heart failure, liver failure, or kidney failure. Those for medical conditions or those who have chronic medical conditions and you still want to be a part of the challenge, just make sure to run it by your doctor first that it's okay for you to drink, the recommended dosage of water. But everyone else, if you are physically fit, come join me in this challenge in January, okay? All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I was like, I did not write this down. I need to write it down. Keisha, thank you so much. It is waterchallenge2023@gmail.com. Thank you, Keisha. You were reading my mind. I was like, uh-oh. So thank you so much. And again, like I said, I will bring this up again throughout the month of December, and I'll give you more details as we get closer and closer to the date. So thank you, Keisha. It is waterchallenge2023@gmail.com. Just write that you're interested, write your name and your age, and that'd be great. So anyways, let's talk about the flu. Let's talk about the flu. I'm going to go ahead and add my slides. So, like I said, the flu has been, let me just take this out here. The flu has been something that I've been observing in the hospital for a couple of days now. I'm like, whoa, okay. I guess people don't realize that we're in flu season. So let me talk about this. Flu season typically starts from the month of September and it ends in April. Typically, those are the periods. And during that time, obviously, because of the weather changes, that in the environment, the cold, it brings the ideal moisture for the flu. The flu is a virus very similar to COVID in terms of, it is a virus type and it causes very similar symptoms. I wanted to show you this, I'm going to take this off here, this map of the United States. And as you can see, a majority, if not all of the states have very high rates. As of the week of November 26, 2022, the majority of the states have very high rates of flu. The ones in purple is the highest rate of flu, and the ones that are in red are high, but not as high as purple, and it goes down and down and down. As you can see, I live in Texas, so we're a big purple state, and that correlates to a very high flu, very high number of people who have the flu. So let me go next. Let's go to the next. Just a second here. I guess it's not wanting me to. Okay, just one moment here. Okay, got it here. Okay. So, like I said, what are some of the symptoms of the flu? As you guys know, the flu causes respiratory symptoms. And a lot of times when I'm in the hospital, people always want to know, well, how do I know if this is a cold or the flu? And to be honest with you, they mimic each other so much that sometimes it is hard to distinguish the two. But how I like to distinguish the cold versus the flu is the cold, you typically have your symptoms, majority of your symptoms from your neck up to your head. So it doesn't typically go below that, okay? So, you would have the sniffles, you'll be sneezing, you'll feel congested, and kind of those are the major symptoms for the most part. Whereas with the flu, it goes and extends a little bit further. It sends to your chest, you're feeling achy all over, you're having diffuse muscle aches, and you're having these headaches. And so the flu usually involves more areas of your body. And although when you look at this PowerPoint presentation, you see that even though it's traditionally for the cold, it's from your head all the way to your head, from your neck all the way to your head, you do have on occasion some chest discomfort, on occasion some cough with the cold, and you do have some fatigue and weakness sometimes with the cold. So that's why I say they mirror each other. But if you wanted to just kind of give a general sense of what the cold is versus the flu, the cold is usually just restricted to your head, whereas the flu is diffusely all over the place. The one defining criteria that I want you guys to hone in on is the cold. You typically don't have fever with the cold, whereas with the flu, you do have fever. You have anywhere from a low-grade fever, or you have a very actual high-grade fever with the flu. So that for me is the defining kind of difference. But they share and mimic a lot of their symptoms that sometimes it can be hard to distinguish. And then on top of that, you throw in COVID and you throw in seasonal allergies, and you're kind of left with, okay, what do I have? So a lot of times with these symptoms, when you present to the hospital or the ER, we may think, okay, yeah, this is a flu, but we're going to check you for COVID. We're going to check you for pneumonia. We're going to check, to see if you have strep throat, because they all mimic each other. So this chart kind of includes COVID and seasonal allergies and gives you kind of what each condition shares. And so, for example, with fever, with coronavirus, you typically have a fever when you have COVID, and same with the flu. Whereas, as we talked about with the cold, you rarely have it, and with seasonal allergies, you rarely have it. But with fatigue, the cough, sneezing, ache, sore throat, running nose, those they share each other's symptoms and with various types of intensity. When it comes to diarrhea, coronavirus, they say it's rare, but in the hospital, I did see, I would say, I saw more people with diarrhea and having COVID than not. So I think when you do have the diarrhea form of COVID, maybe it's severe enough for you to go to the hospital, and that's why I saw it. But you wouldn't see diarrhea in cold, you wouldn't see it in seasonal allergies, and maybe occasionally you can see it in the flu. I just wanted you guys to know that, respiratory infections, they mimic each other. And so a lot of times you have to test in order to confirm what you have. But okay, so how do you get the flu? So this is where I wanted to kind of emphasize, because some people know, some people don't, but so that we can kind of just have the same playing field. We all know that, with anything respiratory, right? A lot of times it spreads based on, through droplets. So if someone's sneezing in front of you, or if somebody's coughing, or even just merely talking, the droplets that are coming from their mouth, from their nose, comes in contact with your mouth, with your nose, and you inhale it, or you have exposure to it, and it goes into your lungs. And that's how now you have the infection. That is where you call a direct exposure. You're getting it directly from the person who's infected. With the flu, you can also get it indirectly. Well, what do you mean indirectly? Well, if someone is coughing, or they're sneezing, or they're rubbing their nose, and then they go ahead and touch a doorknob, and then you, who don't have the flu, you touch that same doorknob, and then instead of washing your hands before you eat, you decided to use your same hands to eat that hamburger. Okay, you have now contacted the flu, because that person who was infected and was rubbing their nose or sneezing and put their hand on the doorknob, that hand contained the virus, and now that doorknob contains the virus. And so when you go and touch that doorknob with the virus, and then use that same hand without washing your hand to now eat or drink, you're now introducing that virus into your body. So that's where the indirect contamination is. And that's where I feel like why it's really spreading, because people are not remembering to wash their hands before they start touching their nose and their mouth. We did a good job, and we were emphasizing a lot during COVID. But I guess now that the cases are coming down, people are feeling more free and forgetting that we are in cold and flu season. So just a reminder, anytime you want to start touching your hand, start touching your nose, start touching your mouth, for whatever reason, make sure you wash that hands of yours. Okay, so I think that was what I wanted to emphasize, and why I wanted to talk about this talk today. So, but how do we prevent the flu? We talked about, okay, washing your hands. Of course, obviously, if you know someone who's sick with the flu, or if you are sick with the flu, kind of isolate yourself for at least, especially until the fever subsides, but until, you start noticing that your symptoms are improving or getting back to normal. If you are around someone who's sick, avoid sharing utensils or any contaminated objects. If you do touch something and they had touched it, obviously wash your hands before you touch your nose or mouth. Clean and disinfect the surfaces. If you have loved ones who are sick with the flu, and you can't avoid it, you have to be around them. So just clean around them, and if you're sick, clean around yourself. And to prevent any viral illness, so obviously the following that I'm going to say works for either it's COVID, either it's the flu, and that is exercise. So prior to you getting the infection, exercise has been shown during research to boost your immune response, thereby getting your body primed to kind of fight against any viruses that surrounds it. So having exercise, you're strengthening your immune system. So that's one. Two, reducing the stress. Stress plays a part in a lot of times why people get any condition, talk less of an infection. When you're in a stressful period of time, what happens is that stress kind of decreases your immune responses. And so you're kind of what we would consider immunocompromised. That means your body is focused on the stress and cannot see the virus that's about to approach it. So by you reducing your stress, you're allowing your body to be able to look at that virus that's trying to spread and kind of do a fight against it. Okay. And then lastly, I know it's not popular, but we have to say it, and that's vaccination. Right now the flu vaccination is ready in majority of pharmacies and clinics. So if you do want to get your flu shot, it is available. I know I have mine, and that has been shown to reduce your incidence of getting the flu. So let's say you do get well, first of all, how do you find out if you have the flu? Just like kind of like with the COVID, they do a nasal swab and test it for the flu. So let's say you're positive for the flu. What is the treatment? Well, currently we have one particular treatment. It's called Tamiflu. It's an antiviral oral pill that you take usually typically twice a day. And this pill is better in the earlier days of the flu. So if maybe day 1, day 2, day 3, it helps to fight the virus when you take it during the early phase. But besides the Tamiflu, obviously you want to take Tylenol for the fever. And besides that, you want to keep yourself well hydrated, okay? So drinking up plenty of fluids. Why? You want to flush as the body's fighting the virus. You want to flush out all that virus out of your system. And one of the main ways to do it is by drinking fluids, okay? Not only that, as you are fighting an infection, you tend to perspire, you tend to sweat, and that is decreasing your water, your water reserve. So a lot of times I see patients come in, especially after infection, dehydrated, after either having a diarrhea episode, nausea, vomiting episode, or even a respiratory infection like the flu. And it's because their water reserve reduced and they did not replenish it. So anytime you have an infection, always remember, okay, did I drink enough water today? And then lastly, taking your antioxidants, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your zinc. All of these antioxidants help in the process of killing the virus. And so ideally, during this period of time, especially during the flu season, you want to make sure you take these antioxidants beforehand. And you want to also make sure, I know we stress that you want to take the pill form, or you can buy it at the store, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, you can buy all those at the store, but strive to take these vitamins in their natural form. So in fruits and vegetables. So vitamin C, everybody knows vitamin C is high in orange. There's other fruits and vegetables that it is also high in. Same thing with vitamin D. You typically get that either in fortified foods, like they typically put it in milk, but also you can get vitamin D just by being out in the sunlight. And then zinc, you can get that as a mineral in the various fruits and vegetables as well. So if you can get them in their natural form, it's better for you. But if not, definitely by taking the supplements, oral supplements, that's also a good alternative as well. So we've reached the end of my talk. Like I said, the whole goal of this talk was to remind everybody that we are in flu season, and that yes, COVID cases are coming down. I'm so happy, especially since I've had to treat a lot of people because of I had to treat a lot of people with COVID since day one. So I'm happy to see it's coming down, and I hope it continues to stay down. But while we are dealing with that, we still have our other infections, such as the flu, that can get us. So let's keep our immunity up. Let's keep our health up, and we'll get through this season smoothly. Now, again, remember, if you are interested in the water challenge that we're going to do starting in January, please go to waterchallenge2023@gmail.com. And that's all the time we have for today. Until next week, bye.